the book of Deuteronomy, we left off Numbers saying the Israelites at the Jordan ready to cross. And now Moses is doing this speech in the book of Deuteronomy, because Deuteronomy is basically Moses addressing the Israelites about all the laws that had been given to them, and how they should follow it and keep to it even when they cross over the Jordan. So Deuteronomy is basically Moses' speech to the Israelites before he dies and hands over to Joshua as they cross over the Jordan, for Moses himself will not cross the Jordan. So Moses tells the Israelites that God had told them to move from Horeb to Kadesh Barnea, for the Lord had said that they had stayed too long on that mountain. So see, I have set the land before you. Go in and take possession of the land that the Lord swore to your father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and give them and their offspring after them. So the land is before them and they are to go into it. That is what Moses tells the Israelites. And so he recounts the journey of the Israelites from Egypt to know where they are about to cross the Jordan and to possess the land that the Lord had promised, although he would not cross over himself, for only Joshua and Caleb would cross from the generation that left Egypt. Moses then beseeches the Israelites to obey the Lord's commands, that it may go well with them, that they may live long and multiply in the land that the Lord is giving them. So he admonishes the Israelites to remember that they are a chosen people and how God led them for the 40 years in the wilderness, and to remember that it's not because of their righteousness that the Lord gives them the promised land, but for they are truly a stiff-necked people, but it's because of the promise that God gave to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and also because the sin of the other people, Amorites and whoever, was not yet full. So that is the reason. So Moses still says that the Israelites should fear the Lord, should walk in his ways, should love the Lord and to serve him. And of course he reiterates that if they obey, they will be blessed, and if they disobey, they will be cursed. Continues to tell them that they should worship the Lord in the prescribed way, not as the others do, and to not neglect the Levites, for you see, they will not get an apportionment when they cross over the Israel. Then Moses tells the Israelites that if there is a prophet or a dreamer or a family member or a friend or any other fellow who tells them to worship other gods apart from the Lord, that they should not listen to him. Actually, they should put him to death. That is very radical. Then he also reminds them about the clean and unclean animals, clean and unclean fish, clean and unclean birds, those that ought to be for food. Yeah, and he also reminds them of tithes, yearly seeds, that is what they should give every year. Then the sabbatical year, after every 7th year, there should be a release, and also the Passover that they should remember and continue taking part in that. So he tells the Israelites to carry out the feast of the weeks of the booths, and he forbids the worship of other gods. That anyone who became a king, imagine, was supposed to write the whole law. So the priest would give him the law, he would handwrite the whole law for himself, so that if the word of the law is written by the king, he would know it, and he was supposed to read it every day. Then if there was a word that came from a prophet and it came to pass, that's how you'd know that that was a true prophet. So Moses also reiterated the laws for the city of refuge, and then the laws for property boundaries, and the laws for being a witness, the laws of warfare. And he said that they should not be fearful, for the Lord will fight for them. He also told them the laws on many other topics that he explained to them. He also told them about marrying a captive, how inheritance would happen, what would happen to a rebellious son. Imagine if they had to stone him in the city gate. Yes, he told them about dressing, about sexual immorality, those to be excluded from the assembly, of course, matters of the unclean. He said that you should not charge your brother interest at all costs, and that people should keep their vows, and that whenever there was divorce to a wife, when she remarries another man, of course the first man can't marry her again. Even if the second man dies, it will be an abomination. And then newly wedded man was allowed to be on leave. They would not participate in the army or other things. At least for 1 year he needed to stay with his wife. Yeah, and then there's also the levirate marriage laws. Yeah, and then Moses reminds them of the first fruit and the tithes, and he tells them that after crossing the Jordan, they are to put up an altar and declare the words, the law. And then of course there'll be blessings for obedience and curses for disobedience. And so he says again, do not worship the gods of other nations, or else you'll be destroyed. And if you turn away from the Lord, and then now you repent and obey, you'll be restored, and also your fortune and everything that comes with it. So he said that what the Lord is commanding is not too difficult, for no word is the word. The word is near them, and it is in their mouth and in their hearts, so that they may obey it. So Moses has given them this speech. He's 120 years old. He's no longer to lead them because he's about to die. Of course, he hands over the baton to Joshua, and that's how his speech ends. But before finishing off, he's told by the Lord that there should be a song to serve as a reminder, to be written and to be taught to the people of Israel, to serve as a reminder and a witness against them, so that they do not, for the time when they will disobey God, this song will serve as a reminder. So of course Moses narrates the words of this song, and he also says his last words concerning each and every tribe of Israel. After this, on the same day, the Lord spoke to Moses, and he went to Mount Nebo, where the Lord showed him the promised land. And that's where he died, and that's where the Lord buried him. And of course now Joshua is taking over, and that's how we learn in the book of Joshua. Let's see how the Israelites cross the Jordan to the promised land.